Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Maryland's Cafe Society Radio on YouTube. Man, I tell you, it's been quite a morning and afternoon. Been trying to pull this thing together actually since yesterday, but here we are. Just got a lot of balls that I'm juggling, trying to so my mom would say, got a lot of pots on the stove trying to do too much. But I'm happy to be here with you on this Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. How are you? How have things been since we last chatted on Saturday? I tell you, the big news story over the weekend was, of course, the announcement of the loss of our two civil rights icons. Saturday, somehow I missed it. I know it's because I had a lot going on and I pretty much had wrapped up the show Friday night and, didn't do a whole lot of checking on news stories before I came to you on Saturday. But anyway, we're going to get right to it right now. Of course, Reverend C.T. Vivian passed away on Friday. He was 95 years old, and he was one of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s generals and key advisors. His full name is Cordy Tyndall Vivian, and of course, he was born July 28th, 1924, in Howard County, Missouri. But he moved to Macomb, Illinois with his mother when he was a young boy, and of course, he started staging sit-ins against segregation in Peoria, Illinois in the 1940s before sit-ins were, very popular. He later studied theology alongside our iconic future civil rights leader uh, and United States Congressman John Lewis at the American Baptist College in Nashville, Tennessee, where they trained waves of activists and nonviolent protests. And in 2013, he was honored by President Barack Obama with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And so he has gone on, and of course, his work continued all through his 80s and 90s, and he will surely be missed. And then United States Congressman John Robert Lewis passed away on Friday. He was 80 years old, and of course, he was considered the youngest, or was in fact the youngest, and the last survivor of the Big Six civil rights activists who, of course, organized the 1963 March on Washington, and he is best known for leading 600 protesters in the 1965 Bloody Sunday march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. And of course, that led to President Lyndon B. Johnson signing the landmark 1965 Voting Rights Act later that year, in which Congressman Lewis was right there as he signed it. Now, Lewis was born February 21st, 1940, right outside of Troy, Alabama. He was the son of sharecroppers and grew up in the racially segregated South. He was not able to vote, enroll in college, or obtain even a library card because he was black. And that, of course, caused him at a very young age to want to be involved in civil rights. And so he wrote a letter in 1957 to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. asking to become involved. He, a few years later, enrolled in Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, and began to organize sit-in demonstrations and bus boycotts. He was also one of the original 13 Freedom Riders. Now, John Lewis's work in civil rights movement morphed into a career of politics. He served 17 terms in the United States House of Representatives from Georgia's 5th District. In 2010, he too received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Barack Obama. And believe it or not, later that year, I actually met him. He came to our community because then Congressman Debbie Halverson and many others in the community he was invited to attend the opening of a community center, the Dave Evans Community Center, and of course, those in the Chicagoland area know him for his work in the Will County community in Illinois as a District 8 board member. He founded the Community Development Corporation. He was a school board member, a civic leader, and so much more. Anyway, he was so well known that Congressman Lewis came to that opening of the community center in his honor, and I had an opportunity to meet with him and chat with him, shake his hand. I spent the weekend after the show, Saturday and even into Sunday, kind of going through some of my archives and files and things of that nature to put up some audio of the conversation we had. He didn't actually come into the studio. I was on the radio at the time, or call in. We just did a one-on-one in person, just a quick chat. And I believe, if memory is correct, I aired it on the radio and I even took a picture, but I could not put my hands on that particular moment in my life. But I know that we, of course, met and had a 5 to 10 minute chat. So it was great. Great. Reverend Singleton, for those who are from the Will County Joliet community in Illinois, know all of these civic and civil rights leaders who were there. And of course, John Lewis gracing us with his presence. I'll remember it forever. All right, so may he rest in peace and in power, along with Reverend C.T. Vivian and all the others who played such a significant role in ensuring that Black Americans have the right to vote and have civil rights and human rights and all of that. And of course, we know the fight is not over. All right, and so yeah, my hope is that we all just continue to carry the torch, the legacy that they left, and not go backwards in life. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our coronavirus update. As of about 11 a.m. this morning, more than 15 million cases worldwide have been reported, just over 600,000 deaths, and more than 9 million have recovered. Here in the United States, we're still leading the world with just over 4 million cases and just under 145,000 deaths. In terms of those who have recovered here in the United States, it's right about 1.8 million. So far, Anguilla is the country in the world that has the least cases reported. They are reporting 3 cases of coronavirus, which is the lowest number, again, worldwide, and 0 deaths. So that's good news for that little country. In other news, well, the owner of 100+ United States malls is reportedly preparing to file for bankruptcy. Yes, CBL Properties could be the first mall operator to join its tenants in the Chapter 11 club. Now, apparently, their tenants aren't able to pay rent, and that's dragging the mall owners' revenue down. Their tenants either skipped rent or requested rent relief back in April, May, and June, and as a result, CBL Properties have been missing their payments on their own $3 billion debt. So we'll watch this and see what happens. Hopefully this situation with COVID-19 will not cause all of the havoc that many of the financial analysts and economists and even politicians are indicating that it will. But that's the latest report on that. And then I guess some good news is that Walmart, Target, Kroger, Walgreens, and CVS have all teamed up together to contribute to a $15 million fund to find an environmentally friendly replacement for the single-use plastic bags. I know this all sounds too familiar, right? We've here on the show have reported on it and talked about it, at least in the last 10 years or so. Those who are probably in my age group, maybe a little bit younger, may remember that we've gone back and forth here in the U.S. Say no to paper and start using plastic because we wanted to save trees, and then we went back to say no to plastic because it's not friendly to the environment. Let's go back to paper or recyclable bags, and so here we are once again back on the plastic thing. Now these retailers are collectively seeking out a research and development situation via a global competition that's inviting entrepreneurs to pitch sustainable plastic bag replacements. Now, of course, the winning concept will be handed over to Closed Loop Partners, which is a New York City product accelerator and investment firm. So far, these retailers and others who are contributing to this fund have given themselves 3 years to find a solution. Now, as you know, plastic bags have been a point of contention, as I said, for about a decade or so, mainly because they require fossil fuels to produce, and it takes up to 20 years for them to decompose, and so that's a problem. Now, it's been reported that roughly 100 billion plastic bags are used here in the U.S. alone every year. Amazing, right? Now, those interested parties believe that an industry-wide approach is the only way to bring that number down, and we wish them well because we do want to save the planet, right? We want we want them to figure out a good alternative. So stay tuned. We'll continue to watch this. Nordstrom is joining the growing list of retailers who are requiring individuals to wear masks if they're going to be shopping and spending time in their stores. Amazon may open 3 grocery stores in the Philadelphia area. And an Italian investor by the name of Giglio Group has bidded on the Brooks Brothers bankruptcy sale. Remember, we reported last week that Brooks Brothers was going out of business, and so they may actually get saved here by the Giglio Group. Also, in an effort to support its online growth that would cost up to $250 million, Nike has cut jobs. I know, Nike. You know what? When we do stories like this where in-store jobs are being cut and new jobs are being created, it's not really a cut, right? They're just kind of restructuring, reorganizing the business. And I guess, as we've been saying all along for several years now, every year the online or e-commerce shopping is going up and in-store is going down. And we all know that with this COVID-19, things have accelerated. So it's not bad news per se, particularly if they can find a way to retrain those who are in store to participate in the online business that is growing through the roof. All right, and so just when we thought that drive-in theaters were cool again here in the United States, remember I reported a month or so ago how creative minds were getting together and bringing back the drive-in theater concept. Well, listen to this. Paris, France has gone and went and one-upped us, everybody. That's right. They have created what is called the float-in theater concept. The float-in theater concept. And just last Saturday night in Paris, a socially distant floating movie experience was held, and it was a big hit. Right, so in Paris there's the water, and so people who owned boats and I guess canoes or whatever floated in water paid to actually park in the water and view a movie from a screen that they had sitting off on the banks of the water. Isn't that a cool concept? Well, guess what? The creators of that experience is going to be bringing it to the United States. That's right. The company is called Beyond Cinema, and they're bringing the float-ins to major cities here in the United States. Of course, they will be cities that have the water situation happening, and I would imagine Chicago would fall in that area, and that all is going to kick off in September of this year. So you'll have an opportunity not only to enjoy the retro experience of drive-in theaters and concerts. Remember, we talked about some of the creative people who are doing concerts on stage in a drive-in setup where people can just pull into parking lots or a big lot and park socially distanced, stay in their cars, or maybe get on their hoods and enjoy concerts and movies. Well, now this experience will be on water. How cool is that, everybody? I think it's really cool. So I hoped to be one who will be able to participate in that. All right, all right, all right. So I guess that is it for today. I do have some cafe humor for you. Are you ready? All right, here it is. What do you call an alligator detective? What do you call an alligator detective? Ready? An investigator. I know, it's so funny. An investigator. Yes, 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 yes. So anyway, that's our cafe humor for today as we close out the show. Now listen, we're going to be on a 2-week hiatus starting now. We'll be on a 2-week hiatus because, as I always do, I have so many projects in the air. A lot of them have to do with the show, and some outside of the show, just some little projects that I need to finish up. So we're going to take about 2 weeks off because that'll, give me a little free time not to have to worry about putting together a show for you guys twice a week. I will continue with the blogs, however, and I'll do more social media as well. Okay, so I'll be popping in more on the social media, so look out for that. The blog will continue, but we will not be doing the actual Wednesday and Saturday YouTube shows for 2 weeks. We're just going to take a little break so that I can get some other things taken care of and done and finished, and then we'll come back by mid-August. All right? All right, so remember, folks, if you have a business, a product, a book, a service, or whatever it is that you want to let more people know about, the Cafe Society, Maryland's Cafe Society, is one way to do that. And so we encourage you to reach out via email at producer@marylandscafesociety.com, producer@marylandscafesociety.com for more information. Of course, we do have the big Christmas giveaway coming up. That's going to start in October. We want to get you on board to, get some further exposure for whatever it is that you do or make or are trying to sell. Also, again, I'm on Twitter at Maryland's Cafe Soch, Facebook, Maryland's Cafe Society, the website, marylandscafesociety.com, and of course right here on YouTube at Maryland's Cafe Society Radio. I do have a love is for you on today, and it is when he's there to back you up. Love is when he's there to back you up. And here's the cute little pic that we'll share. All right, everybody. So I think that is it. Remember, if you don't do anything else this week, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to hang out with you guys, and I look forward to being back on camera with you in 2 weeks. We will, however, continue with blogs, as I said earlier, and look for me on social media. I'll try to spend a little bit more time doing the social media for you guys. All right. So as always, stay safe. Make sure that you wear your mask and social distance and all of that good stuff. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Peace, everybody. Stay safe.